Okay, good practice today. Very physical practice, a lot of stuff done today, a lot of guys rotating in there. And so even though we're in the season, we're still trying to make sure our position battles and things on special teams are remaining competitive, moving guys around at times based off of their performances, because it is a long season. And as we know, we're going to need everybody out there at some point. Some names that maybe that you're not familiar with will end up being guys at some point of the year. So we have to continue at times to remain in a camp mode also this early in the week, this early in the season.
Talk about some of the key things that you need to work on this week that carry over from game one.
Well, we obviously want to improve from week 1 to week 2, like everybody does, and specifically in a number of areas. We want to be more consistent in our passing game, which will help with our third down production. We want to make sure that we finish drives down inside the 5, unlike we did 2 different ones last time, and pitch shutouts when it comes to turnovers. We had 2 turnovers, 1 on special teams, 1 on offense, and we want that to be 0. We're headed in the right direction with +2. It's been a big emphasis for us, and we want to be up there. We're tied for 10th in the country. We want to be up in the top 10 the whole year.
You had mentioned that you had chosen a starting quarterback, but you're not going to name him. Is the starter getting the majority of the reps? Are you going to conduct practices that way, where the guy who's going to start is going to get all of the first team reps, or how do you do it?
The starter did get the majority of the reps with the first team, yes.
Do you plan on opening up the offense a little more? Trying to spread it out a little more, get Marquise more involved, get him a little more in space?
Well, here we go. Last year we threw it to Marquise too much, and now we don't throw it to him enough. So, we're going to try to win the game, and that's the bottom line. And as the game goes, that'll dictate how we call plays and how we manage situations. It's not about records as far as personal records with kids. It's about winning and losing. And so as you saw last week, the way the game was going, we ran the ball more than we have in any game in 3 years here because of the way that our defense was playing and the way we felt the game was going. So it'll all dictate by the game going and what puts us in the best position to win the game.
Coach, what's the latest with Silas?
Yeah, we don't discuss injuries besides what we've already said. That Silas had a procedure, and we hope that he plays this week.
Was Morgan Breslin able to practice at full speed today?
Yeah, we don't discuss that. Hopefully he'll play.
You want to open it up a little more offensively this week?
I just answered that.
As opposed to, game 1 and who you're playing against as well with the defense and what they allowed last week.
Well, we want to win the game, just like I just said. And so the game will dictate that. It's my job as a head coach to put us in the best position to win. And if that means throw the ball 10 times, it means throw the ball 50 times, whatever it does, based on how that game's going. So we'll see. I'll be very happy if we're 2-0 at the end of Saturday, regardless of how many passes or runs or completions or attempts there are.
They had success. Washington State had success running the ball. It's kind of different for a Leach team. What do you see?
Well, they broke a couple runs in the second half. Obviously he's going to throw the ball a lot, and that will open up some running lanes later in the game as you're playing coverages. So they ran the ball better, more efficient than they had the year before. I think in general they're a better team. They're a better team all around than they were a year ago, and that's usually what happens as you go into year 2, you improve, and he's definitely doing a good job with them. And I think the quarterback played extremely well for a tough place to play.
You had said that after the Hawaii game that you didn't announce who the quarterback was, that players could just see who was getting the reps, so they knew who was going to start. Do you, at any point, address the team in terms of this is the guy, this is the guy who we're going with, or do you just leave it up to them to figure it out by who's getting the reps?
Well, I don't address them in that way, just like I don't address them when who starts at running back and right corner. It's their job to play the position and do their job, and they know that. And they're not coaching, they're playing, and so they've been explained that a number of times. So I don't think that it's important to do that.
What about the mindset coming in first home game, and how psyched these guys should be to get this season started here?
Well, I think anytime you come home to a great place like the Coliseum, guys are excited to get back in there. A lot of new guys will be playing their first game in there. So, we'll continue to manage their emotions as we get closer to the game and during the game. to make sure that we're playing really effective and not getting out of whack because we're in the Coliseum.
Trey came here as a linebacker. What did you see from him on the offensive side of the ball as a high schooler?
Well, he really can do anything. As you saw him start as a true freshman in the game at linebacker, and he's a unique athlete. Throws the ball well, runs well, great ball skills, field awareness. So I think it just came down to a decision of how much more of an impact for where we were in our program to have what we thought at the time would be a very special running back. And I think in the first game he showed that. He's going to continue to show that. That was his first game playing. So it was more important than to have a linebacker to move him over, because what he had done and what really we've been missing at that position with a bigger guy probably since Lindell left.
Going over to Justin Davis as a true freshman coming in, what did you like from him against Hawaii?
A lot. I think it's one of the really positive stories out of that game. Obviously, there's a lot of focus on the quarterbacks and who's playing there, but from our perspective, there was a lot of really good things led by Justin Davis. Almost 100. If he doesn't fumble that ball, he's going to have a 100-yard day in his first game. I think Reggie had about 9 yards in his first game, so it's not easy to do. He did a really good job in there, and now he's got one under his belt. He's going to continue to improve. Just like story on the other side in Sua Cravens, his fourth collegiate play makes an interception. Some guys go a whole year without making one, so I thought that spoke volumes to how good he's going to be as well.
Are you trying anything different with the corners this week?
Not necessarily. We're still early in the year, like I mentioned, and we're still giving a lot of guys reps. We'll still continue to find out. You don't have all the answers going into game one in college football. Nobody does. It's not possible as a coach. You haven't played games with these guys, and you haven't seen them in a new system. So we're going to continue to be evaluating all of our players as we move forward. We're one game in and a lot to go.
Because you're one game in, does it really matter who is the number one quarterback at this stage?
I don't know. I just know that it matters that we won our first game, and that we go out and win this game, regardless of who's playing where, and whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to win the game is what we're going to do.
You talked about being protective over that position. In which ways were you protective over Matt when you got here and he was a sophomore?
Well, I just think for guys that have been here for a while and seen what I do with that position, I think it's very important to protect that position, because as soon as you start tearing apart that position, much like what I think would have happened had we named the starter publicly, not necessarily you guys, but just in general, people in school, their families are hearing, it gets so scrutinized at that position that you need to stay really positive with them, because your whole team, it's not just what they read, it's what they hear all the time, from outside sources. So, and obviously, the head coach dictates opinions a lot by how he talks about a position. So that's just my philosophy on that position.
Don't you think that it kind of raises more questions when you don't say who it's going to be, that it leaves it open for more scrutiny, and questions, not only from reporters, but from everyone else?
I don't feel that way. I feel that, they know within our program what's going on, that guy does. And I just think in this specific situation, it had nothing to do with competitive advantage or disadvantage. It simply was about, how all the input that would have come on this guy played this much, well, why is this guy, and his completion percentage versus his, and his throws downfield, all the different things that would come about. And I think I think the starter would have been scrutinized a lot, and I think what is natural, everybody be telling the backup how he got a bad deal. So it's what happens. It's what people do.